We are diving straight into some highly consequential press materials today. These were just released in June of 2026.
Yeah, and they detail a massive ongoing clash.
Exactly. A huge clash between authors and artificial intelligence. Specifically, we're looking at the launch of a worldwide movement called the Protect the Book campaign.
Right, it's a fascinating initiative.
It really is. And we have a stack of sources here outlining how tech giants are training their AI models. So, our mission for this deep dive is to really explore that exact intersection of human creativity and AI training data.
Yeah, we want to understand how creators are actually fighting back,
Right. And the spoiler alert here is that they aren't trying to ban the technology outright.
which is what you might expect, honestly.
Right, totally. Instead, they are radically changing how they define and, protect their own ideas. We are going to look at how the digital age is forcing us to completely redefine what ownership actually means.
It is arguably the defining legal and economic friction of our current decade.
Absolutely. Okay, let's unpack this. Because to truly grasp the scale of what is happening, we really need to talk about invisible labor.
Yeah, that tension between rapid technological innovation and fundamental creator rights is just reshaping the entire internet right now.
So, to put that friction into perspective for you listening, imagine you are a master clockmaker.
Okay, I like this.
You've spent 10 years of your life hunched over a workbench, ruining your eyesight, testing hundreds of springs and gears.
Failing over and over again.
Exactly, failing until you finally build the perfect, most precise, most beautiful clock in the world.
Right.
You set it on your counter, so proud of your life's work. But that night, a shadow slips into your shop.
Ooh, okay.
But the intruder doesn't steal the physical clock. Instead, they take a perfect molecular-level photograph of every single gear, every mathematical ratio, every secret mechanism you invented.
Oh, yeah.
By morning, a factory across town is churning out 10,000 identical clocks a second. You still have your original sitting on the counter.
Right, but it's worthless now.
Exactly. Somehow everything you actually built, the invisible labor, the decades of trial and error, it has been completely taken from you.
If you imagine yourself in that scenario, the sense of violation is profound.
It really is.
Think about pouring years into a creative pursuit or, a complex professional project, pouring your soul into it,
Yeah.
only to find out a machine absorbed all of that hard work in a fraction of a second, entirely without your knowledge.
And that instantaneous, invisible theft is the exact reality Kary Oberbrunner outlines in our source material.
Right, he's a Wall Street Journal and USA Today best-selling author.
He is, and he spent years developing the frameworks for his books. But recently, he discovered his books were among roughly 500,000 titles allegedly used by tech giants to train their large language models.
And the sources specifically name Anthropic, Meta, and other AI developers in this.
Right, and the authors, they had no idea this was happening, and they certainly didn't grant permission or receive compensation.
But really quick, before we dig into the mechanics of how this massive data ingestion actually works, we do need to pause and establish our parameters for this discussion.
Oh, absolutely. Good point.
Because our sources today outline allegations made by Oberbrunner, the Protect the Book campaign, and various reports regarding the actions of companies like Meta and Anthropic.
And their alleged use of a database called Library Genesis.
Exactly. We are reporting on the author's experience and the subsequent movement exactly as stated in the source material. We are not taking a side on the legality of these tech companies' actions,
Right.
nor are we endorsing any specific legal viewpoint on copyright law. Our goal is strictly to impartially convey the ideas, the friction, and the proposed solutions contained in the original material.
Well said. So, looking at the claims in the material, the mechanism of this alleged data grab is just staggering.
It really is.
These 500,000 books were reportedly scraped from Library Genesis, or LibGen, which is a massive online repository of pirated works.
It's basically a digital black market for books.
Exactly. It is as if a digital vacuum cleaner was plugged into the internet, and overnight, it quietly sucked up the contents of the world's libraries.
Yeah, that's a great way to picture it.
But I hear a specific intellectual pushback to this all the time, and I want to throw it at you.
Okay, lay it on me.
If I go to a bookstore and I buy a physical book, I can read it, I can learn from it, I can let it change how I think, and I can use those new ideas in my own business.
Sure.
Why shouldn't an artificial intelligence be allowed to read a book and learn from it too? Like, what is the actual mechanical difference?
Well, what's fascinating here is that we're using the word read to describe two fundamentally completely different processes.
Okay, how so?
That linguistic confusion is exactly where a lot of the legal and public debate gets stuck. When you, a human being, read a book, you are engaging in a process of inspiration.
Right.
You are passing the author's ideas through the filter of your own lived experience, your emotions, your limited memory.
Yeah, I read a book on management, and maybe I remember 3 good ideas that I try to apply at my office.
Exactly.
Ah.
You might be inspired by a concept, but you synthesize it into something uniquely yours because your brain isn't capable of perfectly holding on to the entire data set.
That makes sense.
An AI large language model does not read like that. It extracts. It performs a statistical, mathematical mapping of every single word's relationship to every other word in that text.
Wow, okay.
When it ingests a book, it isn't getting inspired. It is mapping the exact frameworks, the syntax, the proprietary logic, and storing those statistical weights so it can replicate the patterns at scale.
It's just doing math.
Right. It tokenizes the text, breaking down words into numbers, and calculates the probability of which word should follow the next based on the author's original structure. It is industrial data extraction masquerading as human learning.
Industrial data extraction, when you break down the tokenization like that, it really emphasizes the scale of the operation.
Yeah, it's not inspiration, it's ingestion.
Right. And Oberbrunner captures this perfectly in the material. He says, quote, "When I discovered that AI had trained on my books without permission, I realized this wasn't just my story.
Oh, definitely not.
It's the story of countless creators whose intellectual property is helping build billion-dollar technologies while they remain unaware."
And understanding that industrial scale requires us to shift our entire paradigm about what was actually taken from these creators.
Yeah, we have to look at the underlying philosophy here.
Exactly. Oberbrunner's movement hinges on a crucial distinction of the sources. He states, most authors think their book is a product. It's not. A book is intellectual property.
See, that distinction completely reframes the conversation.
It really does.
Okay.
He points out that a book contains ideas, frameworks, stories, and insights that often represent years or even decades of work.
Right.
The Protect the Book campaign specifically seeks to raise awareness among publishers, coaches, consultants, podcasters, entrepreneurs.
Anyone creating original content, really.
Yeah. For all of these creators, their intellectual property is their most valuable business asset. The physical paper or the audio file is just the delivery mechanism.
So what does this all mean for you listening? Let me try to cement the difference between a product and IP here, because I think we get so trapped by the physical world.
We do, yeah.
Let's say you design and build a beautiful custom house. That physical house, the wood, the nails, the drywall, that is the product.
Okay.
If someone steals your house, you lose one house. It's a localized crime.
Right. It's terrible, but it's contained.
Exactly. But the intellectual property is the architectural blueprint. It's the mathematical genius of how the weight is distributed, the layout of the rooms, the invisible logic of the design.
Oh, that's a great analogy.
So if a thief steals the blueprint, they haven't just stolen one house. They have stolen the ability to instantly build 1,000 identical houses faster and cheaper than you ever could.
They effectively put you out of business.
Exactly.
You see, we are tactile creatures, so that product mindset is deeply ingrained in us.
It's hard to shake.
When an author holds their book, they feel the binding, they smell the paper, they look at the cover art, they think, this physical object is what I am selling.
Right, but the AI doesn't care about the physical object.
The AI data vacuum doesn't care about the paper or the glue at all. It only wants the blueprint. It strips away the physical commodity and extracts the incapable labor.
It wants the years of failure.
Yes, the late-night research, the outlining, the life experiences that allowed the creator to build that specific framework.
Yeah.
Whether you are writing a book, developing a proprietary consulting framework, or designing the structure of a podcast, you are generating IP.
Yeah.
You are drawing blueprints.
And if you only protect the house, leaving the blueprints sitting out on a public table, you are incredibly vulnerable to anyone who can scan them.
Exactly.
But the problem is that the thief in this scenario can move at the speed of a fiber optic cable. The theft happens digitally and almost instantaneously.
Right.
The old analog laws we rely on to protect those blueprints, they are painfully slow. You are essentially using a postal courier to chase down a broadband transmission.
That's the reality of it. The solution has to match the speed of the threat.
And the sources outline Oberbrunner's specific technological response to this speed mismatch.
Yeah, because traditional IP law is fundamentally an analog system trying to police a digital world.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Oberbrunner didn't just complain about the archaic laws.
No, he took action.
He launched the Protect the Book worldwide movement alongside a patented technological solution called Instant IP.
Okay, tell us about that.
According to the press materials, Instant IP uses blockchain-backed evidence records and cryptographically verifiable timestamps to establish ownership.
Wow.
Yeah. Oberbrunner says, quote, "Technology can copy ideas at the speed of light. Creators deserve protection at the speed of thought."
That's a powerful quote. And to understand why this shift from traditional law to cryptographic timestamps is necessary, we have to look at the mechanics of how traditional IP protection actually functions.
It's pretty clunky.
Very. If you want to protect your intellectual property traditionally, you are dealing with government bureaucracy. You fill out paperwork, you pay filing fees, and then you just wait.
And wait, and wait.
Yeah. You wait for a human clerk to review the application, catalog it, enter it into a centralized database. The process can take months, and involving lawyers can cost thousands of dollars.
But I want to push back on the blockchain aspect of this for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I know a lot of people hear the word blockchain and immediately think of tech bro hype or volatile cryptocurrency.
Oh, absolutely. It has a stigma.
Yeah. And furthermore, if these AI companies have already scraped the 500,000 books from Library Genesis, I mean, the horse has already left the barn, right? How does a blockchain timestamp actually hold up or help an author whose life's work has already been sucked into a large language model? Judges and juries don't always speak blockchain.
Very true.
Isn't a timestamp just a digital receipt for a stolen item? How does that actually force a tech giant to the negotiating table?
Well, the power to the timestamp lies in how it shifts the burden of proof during a legal dispute or a settlement negotiation. Let's break down the actual mechanism of how this works.
Okay.
Instant IP bypasses the slow human bureaucracy by using an automated hashing algorithm.
A hashing algorithm?
Yeah. When you submit your manuscript or your framework, the software runs the digital file through a complex mathematical formula. This generates a unique, fixed-length string of characters called a hash.
Okay.
It's essentially a digital fingerprint for that exact document.
And if you change even a single comma in the document, the resulting fingerprint changes completely.
Precisely. It is incredibly sensitive. That specific fingerprint is then embedded into a block on a decentralized blockchain.
Got it.
And a blockchain is just a digital ledger distributed across thousands of computers globally. Once that block is added, it is mathematically impossible to alter the timestamp retroactively without simultaneously hacking thousands of independent computers.
Which is basically impossible.
Right. So when you ask how this helps in the real world, if your work is scraped and an AI model suddenly starts generating your proprietary coaching framework, the tech company's first line of defense is plausible deniability.
We didn't steal it. The AI made it up.
Exactly. They will argue our AI generated this independently based on general knowledge, or you cannot prove you originated this specific framework before our model was trained.
Ah, and because traditional copyright takes months, they might argue the timeline is ambiguous.
Exactly. With traditional copyright, it becomes a murky, expensive battle over who had what idea first. But with a cryptographic timestamp, you arrive at a negotiation table with mathematical proof.
You literally have the receipts.
You present a completely immutable public record that says, I possess this exact sequence of ideas, this specific digital fingerprint, at this exact millisecond in time, well before your AI generated it.
That's huge.
It completely destroys the tech company's plausible deniability. It doesn't magically reach into the AI servers and delete your book, but it provides you with an indisputable weapon for the financial negotiations that follow. It establishes undeniable prior possession.
Wow. So it is an unbreakable security camera that proves exactly who owned the blueprint and when.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so now that we understand the technological mechanism they're proposing to secure these blueprints, we have to look at the end game of the Protect the Book movement.
Right. What's the goal here?
Because the goal here is not some neo-Luddite attempt to smash the servers and destroy artificial intelligence.
No, not at all. The source material is very clear on their overarching philosophy. Oberbrunner states, "We are not against artificial intelligence. We are for creator rights. Innovation and ownership should work together."
They want a partnership. They are demanding transparency. Tech companies must admit what data sets they scraped.
Seems fair.
Totally. They are demanding attribution, giving credit to the human who built the underlying framework. They are demanding compensation for the commercial use of that IP.
Right.
And of course, the ability to actually prove ownership, which is where the instant IP timestamps come in. And the sources mention that authors can actually protect their first book for free at their website, instanttip.today.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, they are actively trying to arm creators right now, but looking at the scale of these AI models, which fundamentally rely on absorbing massive amounts of data to function,
Yeah.
and then individual creator ownership, which relies on restricting and monetizing data. Is this a realistic truce? Can these two models actually coexist?
Well, this raises an important question. Can a system that requires infinite free data coexist with a system that demands paid ownership?
Right.
The reality is they have to. It is a matter of basic operational survival for the AI companies. Let's look at the ecosystem right now.
Okay.
If we view the relationship between AI developers and human creators, the AI currently acts as a parasite.
Yeah.
It is draining the intellectual resources of the host without providing compensation or attribution in return.
But a parasite that completely drains its host eventually starves itself.
Exactly. That is the core issue of model collapse.
Model collapse.
Yeah. If AI companies drain the pool of original creators without compensating them, the incentive for any human being to spend a decade developing a new framework or, researching a new historical thesis or writing a complex novel, it drops to zero.
Why do the work if it's just going to be stolen instantly?
Exactly. And if humans stop generating new, high-quality intellectual property, what will the AI models train on next year? They will have no choice but to train on the synthetic derivative output of other AI models.
Wow. They end up ingesting their own exhaust?
Yes.
The data becomes a photocopy of a photocopy, and the errors and hallucinations compound until the output is completely degraded?
That human struggle we talked about earlier, the trial and error,
Yeah.
the lived experience, that is the rich, nutritious topsoil that allows AI models to sound intelligent in the first place.
Without fresh human IP, the machines degrade.
Exactly. A symbiotic relationship where creators are compensated and protected so they can afford to continue creating is not just a moral argument for the authors.
Right.
It is a strict technical and operational necessity if artificial intelligence is going to survive and improve over the next decade.
Wow. We have covered incredible ground today. Let's recap the journey of this deep dive.
Yeah, let's do it.
We started with the sheer shock of the modern creator, waking up to find that years of invisible labor have been absorbed into an AI's training data via massive pirated databases like LibGen.
A total nightmare.
Truly. Then we explored the vital paradigm shift, realizing that as creators, we aren't just making physical products. We are building intellectual property. We are drawing the blueprints.
The visible labor.
Exactly. And finally, we broke down how creators are fighting tech with tech, utilizing automated hashing algorithms and decentralized blockchain ledgers like instant IP to secure mathematically undeniable proof of their ideas at the speed of thought.
The shift from analog defense to digital defense is just a remarkable adaptation.
It really is.
I want to leave you with one final angle to ponder, building directly on that concept of the years of work that these sources emphasize.
Okay, I'm ready.
We spent this deep dive looking at the legal and financial value of proving you own a blueprint.
Yeah.
But let's consider the future cultural value.
Cultural value.
Yeah. As AI models inevitably become capable of instantly generating millions of perfectly structured, highly informative books based on these scraped frameworks, we are going to find ourselves drowning in an ocean of infinite, instant, synthetic content.
We're already seeing it start.
We are. In that world, will the marketplace, meaning the readers, the consumers, eventually place a massive premium on the verifiable proof of human struggle?
Oh, wow. So will the timestamp mean something to the audience, not just the lawyers?
Exactly. Imagine standing in a bookstore, physical or digital. Will you, as a consumer, demand to see that cryptographic proof because you desperately want to know that a real breathing human being actually spent a decade wrestling with those ideas in the dark?
That's a fascinating thought.
In a world where anyone can generate a masterpiece with a prompt, the mathematical proof that someone actually did the hard work might become the most valuable asset of all.
The ultimate badge of authenticity in a synthetic world. It turns out that invisible labor, those 10 years spent hunched over the workbench building the perfect clock, might just be the one thing the shadow can never truly steal.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive today. Keep questioning the world around you, keep protecting your blueprints, and we will catch you on the next one.